It's been a weather fiasco trying to get out of here. So today we're gonna fly probably our typical route, which I hate doing. I hate flying the same route over and over again, but today we've got 16 knots of headwind, supposedly, if we can get out. We're having low-level wind shear and thunderstorms rolling and cloud levels at 500 all day yesterday, basically the entire length of the route, which is, about 350 miles. So right now it's clear skies from Auburn, where we're planning to depart, and right now it's marginal where we're heading, and supposedly going to clear up as the day goes on. So hopefully we'll be able to get out. It is an absolutely gorgeous fall day with all the leaves changing colors. So we'll see what the whole flight turns into, but I think we're finally going to get out. So third time's the try. Good morning. So I'm a private pilot calling for VFR abbreviated briefing. Tail number November 9er 369er, which is an Airco Echo Romeo Charlie Oscar. We'll be departing out of Kilo Alpha Uniform Oscar at 20 Zulu at 2,500 feet to Kilo Golf India Foxtrot. Estimated time en route 5 hours. Alrighty, well, my intentions weren't to do the long cross country today, but with the Enroute and our fuel burn, we needed kind of the perfect conditions. And today's not necessarily perfect, but we've got a tailwind, so we're going to see what we can make of it. We're going to shoot for it. We're going to shoot for it, see if our gas burn will be efficient enough here where we can make this happen. And if we're burning too much, then no harm, no foul. We'll just make another stop and try to get it another day. But what I need is 300 nautical mile trip, which this trip is. 3 points of landing, and I need one of those legs to be 250 nautical miles. So we're going to make our first trip to 16 Juliet, top off on fuel, and then the last leg from there back to Winter Haven is 260 miles, so got my 10 miles of buffer on top of it. So you're gonna see it's a bumpy day, kind of variable. Didn't start out planning to do this, so I would have filmed a little bit differently. So I'll add some of the other details of the trip later. Dolphin traffic, Aircube 9er 369er, 3 mile final, 14 Dolphin. Alrighty, so we're in the final, we're a little high. We're going to be coming in hot. We got 15 to 25 knot crosswind.
Yeah, I don't see any X's on the runway, so we're good.
And hopefully they have gas.
Wait,
It's supposed to, but it just didn't have up-to-date fuel prices.
oh.
So I was like, hopefully that's not a bad sign. I mean, we've got plenty if we need to go somewhere else, but it would destroy the long cross-country plan. One thing that's a little weird about the crosswind landings on the Enroute is looking out the side of your plane at the runway.
Like, yes, runway, straight ahead.
Yeah, when I turn my shoulders, I'm aligned with center line. Alrighty,
Let's see.
RV10.
Now I'm aligned with center line.
Yeah.
This is...
Yeah, I'm not loving.
Rock the wings, remember?
Yeah. Well, that's not the time for that.
Yeah. Alright, we're good. Easy.
Dude, I did not like that. I was 2 seconds away from going around.
Yep.
The coupe handled it fine. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the video. But it's so variable. Not like it was steady. Gummy frog. And he stole my gummy frog. Time building snacks. Cheap gas station candy. Good for the brain. So we're leaving Dawson Municipal. Next leg is 260 miles. And we're going to be monitoring gas heavy. I think that should burn. Really, we should be burning less than 18 gallons, but I'm going to be monitoring gas like a hawk. So, here we go. Just under the 2-hour away mark. And it's changing a little bit because the wind is variable today. So we go from moments of having faster ground speed to slower ground speed. That's definitely going to take a toll on the fuel, but the current game plan is once we're at our last cheap fuel stop, which is conveniently an hour away, we're going to monitor and see where our nose tank indication is. And if that's still at the tippy top, then we should be able to make it to Winter Haven with 30 minutes of reserve. But based on the calculations, we should be able to land at Winter Haven. A full nose tank, meaning we have just over an hour of fuel left. But it has been a roller coaster
As you
ride.
can see.
Yeah, if you cannot tell by the footage. But the good news is we randomly get to see a 1,000-foot gain per minute, which is not something you see often. So right now, everything's kind of going to plan. The other thing is, again, with this long cross country and the Enroute, really waiting for a tailwind to be able to feel comfortable doing the 250-mile leg, because I'm pretty weary about fuel. But since we weren't planning on it today, we were really just trying to find a window to get out. So once we get to that hour mark too, we're going to start really monitoring cloud levels. Because right now, things are reading marginal VFR, but that's supposed to clear up right when we're entering in. So a lot of things to monitor. But right now we're getting a slight tailwind for the moment, and hopefully that will hold. So, see if we can log this long cross country for the commercial rating. Alrighty, so we're about at our hour mark. Our wing tank indication is still showing a slight bob, but we're basically at the end of that, which means we've got about 30 to 45 minutes of fuel in the wings. So it's looking good on the fuel. We're entering our one little section of predicted low visibility and a little bit of low cloud layer. Cloud layer is looking okay, but our visibility is
probably around 5 or 6, if that. So, I'm going to keep monitoring, watching the fuel, but it looks like we're going to be able to meet my commercial requirement for a long cross country today, as long as this weather cooperates so I don't have to deviate. Alrighty, so we're less than an hour out. Fuel is still looking good. And we've just coming on the end of this layer that was over in Burness. And all the cloud layers should start clearing up here too as we get closer and closer. But looking good. We've been getting a decent tailwind. Nothing crazy, just enough to keep pushing us along. And getting a good view this long cross country of the sun going down over the coast.
St. Pete Radio, Aircube 9er 369er transmitting and receiving on 122.2.
Niner, St. Petersburg Radio.
Yeah, we are 25 miles southwest of Leesburg and looking for a weather update as we've kind of run into some weather here.
Over 369er, Roger. What's your destination and altitude?
We're at 1,500 currently. Our original destination was Winter Haven, but now we're just heading towards Leesburg.
November 369er, Roger. Yeah, you got, you're right on the northwest edge of a convective SIGMET, 55 Eastern, a line of thunderstorms across there. Details for that on request. Looks like your best bet, I'd say. You do have some IFR conditions there for the north of Inverness over to the west of Brooksville. Looks like your best bet is to head up towards Leesburg. Their VFR up there. Yeah, definitely I would not go south any farther. You can go up to the northeast to Leesburg and wait this out until you get past Winter Haven. And yeah, it looks like that'll be your best bet.
Ask them what's the expected movement time?
And could I get an expected movement time for the weather that's kind of blocking us there?
Or 369er. The convective SIGMET 55 Eastern is saying that it's the line of thunderstorms 20 nautical miles wide, moving from 260 degrees at 30 knots. It looks like it's moving more to the southeast, but yeah, it's moving about 30 knots. So I would say with the distance that it is from Winter Haven, I'd probably give it another hour and a half before it's pushed through that area.
Perfect. That gives us everything we need.
Perfect. You've been so helpful. Thank you.
369er, no problem. And looks like your nearest altimeter is the Zephyr Hills altimeter 299er7. And have a good day.
299er7. Good day.
And master on. So we didn't make it to Winter Haven. Basically conditions went to crap, and it went not just marginal, but it was going IFR all around us, and we honestly got kind of lucky that we had a hole and were able to get into another airport thanks to Orlando Approach. So
shout out to them.
shout out to whoever that guy was, because he kept us from getting into IMC and legitimately an emergency situation. So instead of spending money on gas, we are going to be sleeping in the same bed because why would we want two? So
that was a crap show. We went from boarding the long cross country due to weather to getting kind of trapped and
Turning 180 degrees around.
180 degrees around, and luckily had an airport close enough that was still VFR, marginal VFR at the time, that instantly got covered up after we landed, to getting a hotel because the weather wasn't going to change, to thinking we were going to get out this morning after meeting an awesome fellow air coupe owner, and then all of a sudden we weren't getting more than 1500 RPM, and our carb was leaking, and every AMP on the field was busy. It was a nightmare, but turns out one of our cylinder exhaust valve got stuck open, and it took a little while to diagnose, but luckily there was a very, very competent maintenance shop on the field, and got that unstuck from being open, and spark plugs cleaned, and a few other little maintenance issues to be taken care of later, but now we're up in the air. A little bit poor, but